Let's go. Share it, push it, do it, know it. One MediaCom, we work as a team.
Well, I think the best place to start is where we left off in our previous conversation. And Renav was talking about business results. And at the end of the day, what you have to look at is what are you trying to achieve as a business? And, that can come in multiple forms. It could be that you're trying to build awareness. It could be that you're just trying to get people to fall in love with your business or your brand. Or ultimately, the one thing that we're all looking to do at the end of the day is, drive sales, get people to buy your product or experience your product. And I think experience then is a key word in this, because it's about what kind of an experience are you creating to ultimately deliver that business result.
Yes, and if you see, whenever, as you rightly mentioned, that the core objective is to drive sales, and whenever a consumer is making a purchase decision, they have a particular need state, and that is why they would go ahead and buy a product. And if your innovation can answer that need state that the consumer has while making the purchase decision, I think innovation can set your brand apart from rest of the brands that are there in the category.
I think, with having innovation and setting yourself apart from your competitors is really we're looking at our consumer and really having a deep understanding of what they really want. So enhancing that experience for them and actually having the same belief and same culture, almost cultural belief, is what actually motivates them to actually choose your brand. So innovation also comes from the culture that your brand takes and the beliefs that they have.
I think, we're living in an age now where we look at this sort of worldly definition of a millennial. But I think, if we're being more specific and we start to think about these new generations as well, Gen Z or whatever you want to look at, we've got a bunch of consumers who are a lot more purposeful in terms of the decisions they make. And I think, if we look specifically at South Africa, we have this generation that essentially is the born frees. And they're very conscious about, the challenges and the problems that affect their lives. And that is something that they take to heart and take into consideration, even when they're making, purchase decisions as well. Yeah.
And to be fair, I also believe that, if the brand is actually adding value to the consumer's life, okay, there's always a need, and that is why consumers are buying your brand, okay? And if the brand is able to add value to what the consumer is seeking, I guess that is how your brand will be remembered by the consumers, be it millennials or be it any other target market that you are focusing on. But I guess the brand needs to add value to consumers' life just to stand apart from other brands.
It's quite interesting because, if you look at what most brands have been doing is actually they're looking at how millennials behave, or the Gen Z. And the mistake that they do is obviously looking at the trends and, trying to fit in the strategy or whatever's happening. But actually, that's a huge mistake that they're doing. So what they need to focus on is actually being true to themselves, telling their own unique stories, you know what I mean? And also having understanding, obviously, of the consumers as well. So those things are things that the brands obviously kind of oversee and not always focus on what they're actually trying to achieve. So they should always stay true to themselves and then what they want to achieve. And that's where innovation comes from.
Let's go. Share it, push it, do it, know it. One MediaCom, we work as a team.